The year 1221 marked a pivotal moment in the Mongol conquest of Central Asia. Following the decisive Battle of Indus, where Sultan Jalal ad-Din Mingburnu suffered a crushing defeat, the Khwarezmian Empire teetered on the brink of total collapse. Though Jalal ad-Din escaped across the Indus River, his empire was effectively shattered. Genghis Khan, ever the strategist, dispatched his most capable generals to complete the subjugation of the remaining Khwarezmian territories. Tolu, the youngest son of Genghis, was tasked with the systematic destruction of the empire's heartland. His campaign would leave an indelible scar on the region. Nishapur, a venerable city in Khorasan, had initially resisted Mongol incursions. It had even killed a Mongol commander, Tokuchar, a son-in-law of Genghis Khan, during an earlier siege. This act of defiance sealed its grim fate. In late 1220, Toli arrived with a massive army, determined to exact vengeance. The city's defenses were formidable, but the Mongol siege engines and relentless assaults proved overwhelming. After several days of intense fighting, the walls were breached. On April 10, 1221, the Mongols poured into Nishapur. The orders from Genghis Khan were clear. Every living being was to be put to the sword. No quarter was given to soldiers or civilians. The ensuing massacre was horrific in its scale and brutality. Men, women, and children were systematically slaughtered in the streets and homes. The city was then meticulously razed to the ground, leaving nothing but a desolate wasteland. Even the animals were not spared. The Mongols reportedly piled the heads of the slain into pyramids, a chilling testament to their destructive power. Nishapur, once a vibrant center of learning and commerce, ceased to exist. Before Nishapur, Tolui had turned his attention to Merv, another jewel of the Khorasan region. Merv was a city of immense wealth and cultural significance, boasting a population estimated in the hundreds of thousands. Its fate would be even more tragic. Tolui's army arrived at Merv in February 1221. The city's governor, fearing the Mongols' reputation, chose to surrender rather than resist. He hoped to spare his people the horrors of a siege. The Mongols initially promised clemency. However, this was a deceptive tactic. They ordered the entire population to evacuate the city and assemble on the plains outside. Once gathered, the people were separated. The soldiers and able-bodied men were systematically executed. Then, the Mongols turned their attention to the women and children. The scale of the Merv massacre is almost incomprehensible. Chroniclers reported that the Mongols spent days slaughtering the populace. One account claims that a scribe was ordered to count the dead, a task that took 13 days. The estimated death toll for Merv alone reached over 1 million, though this figure is likely an exaggeration. Nevertheless, it underscores the immense human cost and the systematic nature of the Mongol destruction. Merv, like Nishapur, was utterly devastated, its libraries burned, and its irrigation systems destroyed. The campaigns against Nishapur and Merv were not isolated incidents. They were part of a broader strategy to completely dismantle the Khwarezmian Empire and eliminate any potential for future resistance. The Mongols sought to instill terror and ensure absolute submission. With the major cities of Khorasan reduced to rubble and their populations annihilated, the Khwarezmian state effectively ceased to function. Jalal ad-Din, though still alive, was a king without a kingdom, constantly on the run. His attempts to rebuild an army were futile against the overwhelming Mongol might. The destruction of the Khwarezmian Empire was swift and brutal. It demonstrated the Mongols' unparalleled military efficiency and their willingness to employ extreme violence as a tool of conquest. The once flourishing lands of Central Asia were left desolate. The events of 1221 left an enduring legacy of devastation across Central Asia. The region's demographic, economic, and cultural landscape was irrevocably altered. Major cities that had thrived for centuries were wiped from the map forever. The Mongol campaigns at Nishapur and Merv serve as stark reminders of the destructive power of war. They highlight a dark chapter in history, where the pursuit of conquest led to unimaginable human suffering and the obliteration of entire civilizations. The echoes of their destruction resonated for centuries,